Hey friends, this is me once again, Paula Cajares, living in PA review. Okay, so as most of you all know, I am looking for work in the Poconos for a while already. And I have been going through different agencies and doing a couple of you know interviews and what have you. So what I have found out has surprised me, struck me in a way. So there is an agency that works with Department of Labor in Pennsylvania. This agency is called CareerLink, right? And then these people are the one who really oversees every agency around there, around here, especially those that are nonprofits. And when they audit these people doing their yearly audit, and listen to what I'm saying because this is what I heard. Is it true or is it not true? I'm not sure. If you guys know more information, please do put it in the comments. So what I found out is that when a job is posted from these nonprofit organizations, and I'm gonna put on the bottom of this video all of the agencies that you could go and search for work. So they're mandated by CareerLink to interview at least 15 people for one position before they make their decision. So that means that when you go on an interview for whatever position that you're going, especially that type of position that is going to be a permanent position, okay? A permanent position, not a substitute teacher, not something that is temporarily. It's a different thing. For a nonprofit, which is a teacher, like the public, right? They must interview about 15 people before they do their pick. So this is what I said about this area where nepotism comes about, is that let's say they have someone in mind, still they will interview every single 15 people that appear for that position, right? But they already have someone in mind, right? So they will do their checklists and they will call, apparently those people, and they will do a series of questions, and then based on the questions, that's why that person was hired. So, okay, CareerLink will only come in when they audit these people, and they'll, have this bunch of folders with different people's names and resumes and notes about what they ask and whatever. You see what I'm saying? So there is no evidence whatsoever of what really did happen on that day when the person was interviewed. What if that person really did answer all the questions right and that person was a fit, but that was not the person that they had in mind? They had someone else's in mind. So there's no way, there's no law that says you must record the interview for us to audit it and see if you're really doing a good assessment when it comes to your staff. There's no law that says you must record in each and every single interview that you do in order for us to find out to whether you're being racist against that person, biased, or what have you. Right? There's no such law. It's just they will just show the folders with their notes when they come and audit, right? And they'll say, yes, we did interview 15 people as you mandate us to do so. Here's the notes, and this is why we didn't hire this person, right? And then they'll do their nice notes and what have you, and they'll say, oh, this is why we didn't hire them. But there's no really, like, if I'm an auditor, right, and I come in and let me check this notes, is this true? No, there's nothing like that for me to say if it is true or not. So that is something that you guys have to have in mind when you go and find a job. Now, questions that interviewers are asking, depending on the position of where you go and apply, they are asking questions as if you need to know like company policy and shit like that, and you're like, what the fuck, why you asking me these questions when you are the one who's supposed to train me? But then that could be the tricky part, that they're not looking to hire you. So I'm thinking that those interviews that are really hard and they ask really hard questions, man, they might not want you. Period. Because it's like, okay, I understand you call me, I have related experience as you posted there, but I have not worked in the field that I have applied. I would like to gain experience, that's why I apply. And then you're saying that either you need to have a year experience in this position or 3 years of related position. So I have been a caseworker for 3 years. I know how to manage casework, and I know how to get a caseload and time management and what have you. I have done that in the position that I was in New York. So I can apply to other positions, right, that are related to the field, because I know how to serve the public. I've worked with profit. I never worked for profit. Nonprofit or public, right? And agencies that specializes in providing service to the public, to the community, or to whatever, right? So I do have that related experience, plus my degrees and, whatever you think, will fit into that. I do fit into it. But Pennsylvania is very special because like they asking for like that you have to be a social worker just for casework, where casework all you need is a bachelor's for whatever thing and related experience. And why? Because they still send you to have how you call that training. So why are you asking for all these things when you're still gonna send that person to training, right? So that's one. And if the person has related experience, why are you doing all these things? But that's what I noticed about this Pennsylvania. So I applied for foster care, to be a caseworker in foster care, right? And I remember the post said that if you had related experience about 3 years, managing caseloads, like I went through the whole whatever they were asking. I said, well, yeah, I do qualify. I used to be a caseworker. And before you see clients, before you get a caseload or whatever you want to call it, regardless of the situation, they will always send you to training, because you have to know their policies and how you do these procedures and blah, blah, blah. So they asked me a question, and it says like that: if a foster care parent is refusing to take this child to an appointment, right, what would you do in that case, right? So I was like, what the fuck? Why are you asking me this question? So I said, well, when you are, so I said to them, well, what's the policy on you guys doing that? Because that question can lead to different answers, right? And based on your question, I will go based upon your regulations and based upon your manual. So that question, I cannot answer unless I know your regulations and your manual. So I said to them, what is the regulation, right? So then she said, but what would you do, right? And then I said, well, I believe if the parent doesn't want to take the child and that child is under my care and I have to supervise, if everything is in place. So I feel I should take him, right? But I say I feel I should take him. Although I feel that if you sign off for a foster parent, there's certain responsibilities that that parent signed up for. So I think also that parent should be aware of that, right? And then the interview finished and what have you, and then the person said, "Oh, we made sure to take this case to their appointment, even if the foster care parent is refusing, you have to take it." So I said to her, I said, "Okay, so there you go. That's your answer there to what you asked me before. So then the answer is yes, right? Why would they expect someone that has only related experience as a caseworker to know their fucking damn policies?" That's what I'm thinking into my head. Like, I wouldn't know that, right? So then immediately, like, I got an email saying, "Oh, we didn't pick you." Like, I said, "Damn, you didn't even wait until, many weeks pass, and then, oh, after reviewing whatever candidates," right? We didn't pick you, I'm sorry, whatever, right? No, like, when I drove home, and then like 2 hours later, they sent me an email saying, "No, we thank you for coming, but no," right? So what is it that these agencies want? Because they're asking questions that are like, it's for someone that already know their policies and procedures, right? So I don't think they should ask those questions. I don't know if when they audit, they're being audited, if they're gonna say, "Yes, you know what, we asked this girl this question," and then whoever's doing the audit is that person saying, "But this is relating to someone that needs to know your policies and procedure, and that person is new, so how would she know unless she gets the training," right? Like, that's what I'm saying. Are these people doing that or not? And that's why there's so much nepotism going on in this area of the Poconos, okay? That this is what I'm reporting, and this is the reviews of what I'm seeing, okay? So questions that they're asking are, I write them down. So when you go and have an interview, whether it's for a substitute teacher or teacher, caseworker, caseworker has different, areas: foster care, adoptions, this and that, social work, and this and that. They asking most of these questions because they have asked me these questions. So one is, how do you deal with difficult parents or clients? They will ask you that. They will ask you that, like, how would you deal with that? What makes you uncomfortable, right, when you enter a classroom? Or what makes you uncomfortable when working with certain population, right? What interests you in applying for this position? What are your interests? They ask you that. How would you deal with difficult staff? And you have to give a sample. So I'm giving you all these questions so you guys prepare yourself when you go and do these interviews. How do you deal with difficult children? How would you deal with difficult parents? Like I said, like for this foster care thing, they asked me, what would you do in the case if a parent is refusing to take a child to an appointment? So they want to hear, "Oh, I'll take the child because that's my responsibility." That's what they want to hear you say, right? That's what that. When you work as a caseworker for Department of Youth, Children and Youth, or foster care, like assist services, Mary Kay. What is another one? Well, I will put it there. They always will ask you about your commute to these houses and visiting these children, and that maybe these kids, if it's foster care, they will place them in places far from work or from your home, about 1 to 2 hours away. And if you're willing to do that, your answer needs to be yes, I'm willing to. I do not mind. I love traveling. I love driving. I always love driving to Pittsburgh and visit my family. I enjoy when I went to Florida and I drove because I love the scenery and love to drive and meeting new people on my way, or looking at new scenery, landscapes, what have you. I have no issues with that. You have to answer it like that, even though you don't want to. Because if you don't answer like that, you're not going to get picked. Okay, so that is another one. They will ask you that question, why would we should hire you? So that's when you highlight all your skills, like me being bilingual, able to interpret, different slangs that are from the, Spanish language, because even though we speak the same language, I will understand each and every one of those, slang that they use, right? Things like that. And just give out all of your strengths when it comes to, like, you should hire me and not the other person. That's what they want to hear. They are asking this question: what's your biggest strength and what's your weakness? I don't know why they're asking that, but I don't like when they ask, what is your weakness? Like, what? So when you ask about a weakness, like, what is it that you're looking for? Like, why do they ask that? I don't know. And this is why I'm saying this CareerLink or Department of Labor, why are not they assessing every single one of these questions that they ask interviewees at the time of an interview? Why are they asking for people weaknesses? Why? Why is the purpose of that? That's a question that I'm asking. Like, what the heck? And then, if you work for children and youth and you're about to remove a child, they will ask this question: how would you comfort a child if you need to remove this child from their home? So what they want to ask, because you have to answer it in different ages. You say, if it was an infant, of course the child will not know, but still I will, comfort the child by singing a song or what have you, if the child cries because at the time of separation from their mom. If it's a child that is a 4-year-old, I will let them know, I'm here to help you, everything is fine, this and that, blah, 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 right? And if it's an adolescent child, well, I will speak to him as much as possible, answer his or her questions as best of my knowledge. But honestly, I need more training in that area, because adolescent is not my area or expertise, because I have only worked from infants all the way to 6-year-olds. And they liked my answer, right? That's what I said. But maybe you could take my answer and make it even way better, because probably you guys know my answer. So yeah, so I have that. So this is what they're asking. I don't know in New York, but this is what I'm experiencing. I also recommend, like, if you find a job in Pennsylvania and you have a BA, to do your substitute license and start that job, right? And if anything happens to you in that job, if you get terminated, lay off, or whatever, you still have that substituting license and you still be able to work even if you were terminated from a job. that has nothing to do with subbing. You see what I'm saying? So I do recommend that. I do recommend you, if you're looking for work in Pennsylvania, to do your sub license, to keep it, right? To like, in the process of you looking for work, I think you have to do like 20 days, and then they'll bring it up until the next year, whatever, for you to sub again. You know, like, keep it. If you are offered another job, don't leave your license. Keep it. And you never know, God forbid they fire you, or they say, you know what, bye, see you later. You still have a job to come back. And that's what I'm going to start doing. I'm going to start doing my license for subbing. I'm going to look for permanent work. I'm going to start a new permanent work. And if something happened within that period of time, because they get rid of people here like nothing, I have something to come back to. You see what I'm saying? That not having shit to come back to. Or if you're still looking for, you know, my head itches here. If you're still looking for work, you could do your sub license, start working as a sub, and also do some part-time during the weekends at Walmart. Because Walmart could do whatever hours you, like, whatever hours you tell Walmart. If Walmart wants to hire you, and you tell them, they work with you, and you could work with them. And then, you know, you could balance it out. In Pennsylvania, I noticed people had 2 jobs. So being a sub and working at Walmart is not that bad deal. And then Walmart is starting people's pay like good now, like in 15 or 12. So, and then for the sub, the ones who made the most is the sub teachers, not the associate teachers. They make $100 a day. Some districts pay you $110, depending on the district. So this is my review on interviews that I have experienced. This is my only experience. I'm not speaking about any other people around this area. Don't think I'm doing a research and I'm going around asking people questions about their interview experiences. No, these are questions that they have asked me. These are things that I have found out about this area, and that when I know it, I make a video and I report it to you guys. Don't believe that I'm this investigator, researcher who's taking numbers and saying the ratio and the percent. None of that. Okay? None of that. I'm just giving you a different perspective that other channels give you about Poconos. Okay? Most of the videos that you find out there talk about the good stuff of the Poconos, like for tourist purposes. But I'm not a tourist. I'm a person who came from New York and started living in the Poconos and starting to get, like, I'm in my adaptation processes right now. Okay? So, lo que yo digo para hacer un summary de todo lo que yo dije, he experimentado diferentes interviews aquí en la área de los Poconos. Y lo que yo les aconsejo a las personas es de que tengan, digamos, cuando son profesionales, que tengan una licencia de substituting, porque para tener una licencia de sustituta solo se necesita un VA. Y muchos de los profesionales que vienen acá lo tienen. Y que vayan consiguiendo trabajo en los websites que yo he venido recomendando en mis otros videos. Entonces, digamos de que ellos empiezan un trabajo nuevo. Algo pasó, los terminaron, los echaron, lo que sea, tienen algo para volver. Pero no empezaron trabajo sin nada así. Aquí no es muy recomendable hacer eso. También les recomiendo tener lo de sustituta y los weekends, hacer trabajo en Walmart o en otro lugar para balancearse y hacer un poquito de dinero. Porque, and that's what I forgot to tell you. Why am I recommending you guys to work in Walmart during the weekends? So that way, when you sub in, because during the summer you could do full-time hours with them. and then when the school year starts again, you could come back to your weekend hours, and then you could balance it out, and then you could, you could be fine. I mean, life is all about sacrificing. So this is Paula Cajares from Living in PA Review. Hope you like my review. Hit that like, subscribe, man. Subscribe.